So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom, and I've painted a lot of infantry lately, so I think it's about time I redress the balance. Out of the stash, I pulled out this box of British Napoleonic Light Dragoons from the Perry twins because I really fancied doing them. I've got 2 boxes of these, and I kind of have a hankering to do some cavalry. Yeah, I know, Shockery Probe. So let me open up this box. I haven't actually opened it yet, and see what's inside. And I'll walk you through the processes I go through here. Pop the box over there. Inspiration background. Except it won't stand up. There we go. Too much crap on this side here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sprues. Is that right? I think that's sprues. It's supposed to have 14 figures inside. Each sprue has 2 horses and looks like bodies for 4 different. Oh, okay. There's different sprues. Okay, that's not as simple as that. So that is I'm just trying to see if there's any notification on that particularly. Doesn't seem to be. Could be the officer sprue maybe. Oh yeah, there's a trumpet arm. I think this is the command sprue. So this has 2 cavalry and 4 different riders. So presumably lots of options there. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sprues with 3 horses on each. So 4, 8, 12, that's 12. Yeah, 13, 14. So there's your 14 figures. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sprues with various body components. So looking at them, there appears to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different bodies. Torsos, I mean. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 different legs, 6 different legs, various sword arms, various headgear, helmet options. So it looks like a good variety of figures here. So you can make up 14. Oh, and plus you've got your stands if that's what you need. So let's have a look at the leaflets. I always love the Perry leaflets. They do give you so much information in these things. Oh, and yes, you've got an awful lot of options here. So, British Light Dragoons served wherever the army campaigned, Europe, America, Western East Indies, performing all the duties from scouting, skirmishing, raiding, protecting baggage trains to full-blown charges in the main battle line. They were truly universal soldiers. On some occasions, they became very difficult to control after a pursuit which angered Wellington. Both early and late uniforms are covered in this box, although there was a transition period where a mix of both occurred, which is shown later. Just love the sheer information that the Perrys put in. You've also got the colour schemes here for all the different regiments. So these are the 1808 to 1813s regiments. You've got the Tarleton, is it called? The bit like the horse artillery have, that sort of helmet. You've also got the tropical tin helmet, based on a classic design. This light tin helmet replaced the Tarleton by some regiments in the hot climates. So you see, this is the 8th King's Royal Irish, which served in India throughout this period. So they've got that tin helmet on. But I mean, heat is better that way. Yeah, it looks cool. So that's that. You've also got details on number of. Crikey, you've got basically all the details, all different regiments. It tells you the trumpeters. Between 1808 and 1813, trumpeters at this time wore reverse colours, i.e. the coat was the facing colour of the regiments, with the cuffs and collars in blue or light bluey grey for those regiments serving in hot climates. The sheepskin saddlecloth was black for the trumpeters. The horses normally grey if available. So That's that. Then it also gives you the officer details. Note that the swallowtail ends to the saddle cloth for this period. The colour of the saddle cloth was normally a facing colour of this time. So what I love about the Perry stuff, it just gives you everything you need to know. Is even the transitional period where the uniforms were changing. So there's a combination of the two early and late styles. And then when you move on to the 1812 to 1815 period, which is I think the one I'm going to go for, you've got the shakos. Even then, there's a couple of options. You've got the light. Actually, no, they're probably the same shakos, but they're you can paint them up white if they're in the tropical regions. Now, personally, I'm thinking I'm going to go with the 13th with this regiment. I'm going to probably go here. They've got white turnbacks, white collars, white cuffs, white sort of bib down the front. I think that could be quite fun to do with the dark blue. Yeah, I think I'm going to go 13th. It saw action right through the period, Peninsula and also Waterloo. There's also options here if you want to turn them into King's German Legion Light Dragoons. So you've got the 1st Regiment and 2nd Regiment were converted from heavy dragoons and served in the Peninsula in the Waterloo period. British Light Dragoons were clean shaven, but King's German Legion wore moustaches. So there you go. If you're looking across the table and you see a group of mustachioed light cavalry coming at you, know they're German. Just those touches I love in the Perry stuff. You've got different officer here. It's just brilliant. So okay, so here we go. So 1812 to 1815, trumpeters in this period were the same as the troopers, except for a red tuft. Some colonels followed the reverse colours of the previous years for their trumpeters, however. So, it is what it is. So there you go. That's my box. I think I'm going to go for the 13th and set them up as if they were from Waterloo period, just because I fancy doing that. 13 is my magic number. So next up, we're going to have to assemble these, and I'll come back and talk you through how that worked. Right, so I put the horses together. They are dead simple, literally just jammed together halves with heads on one side, which I actually like as the approach. But I thought I'd show you the riders and how they come together. Now again, depending on the era you're doing, and I didn't realise initially, they're two different sets of legs. So these guys have boots on. These guys have trousers that come down over their boots and looks like sort of markings for lines down the edge of their overall stroke trousers. So the early period have boots, the later period don't. And guess which ones I started sticking on? Yes. So there's also, as I said, two different bodies. There's this one, which has a more sort of kind of like the bib approach down the front, and the other ones that have a more traditional sort of hussar front. Again, the hussar ones are the early period. So just making sure you get the right ones, as well as the heads, that is. So a bit of glue, sit them together. Oops. There we go. Make sure that's sitting snugly. I think it is. I'll do the head as well. Dollop of that in there. Excuse me, a bit of cold this morning. Hold the head there for a minute. Make sure it's sitting right. Oh, it's not quite sitting right. There we go. As a socket, which actually gives you a little bit of play to turn it one way or another, just a little bit, which again is nice, gives you that opportunity for a little bit of variety. So that's him done. Leave him to set now. In Blue Peter tradition, his two are done earlier. So I'm going to stick the sword arms. All of mine are going to have their swords at rest on their shoulders. There's 3 different varieties of arms on each sprue, which means every single figure can have that, which is great. And again, I can play it a little bit, so I can move it just slightly, so they have it in just slightly different position on the arm, on the shoulder. So that's him. Now the other thing is I'm getting in trouble again. I'm going to call this a handbag. Here we go. And that goes up underneath. You can see underneath there. So I get a load of glue, a little bit down the leg because the scabbard's going to stick there. And there you go. Oops. Ah, he said. There we go. There we go. And there's the rider done. So I'll finish these up, give them a varnish, give them an undercoat, and I'll be back. So I've painted up the horses, just with contrast paints. I've done a mixture of 3 or 4. I can't remember, browny colours, just because I want them to have that sort of all be similar sort of tones, if you like, but different actual colours. I also mixed and matched the manes. Some of them got black, some of them got dark grey, some of them got dark brown, just to put a bit of variety on them. Didn't mention on the sprue there was also their carbines. You can see it here, and on the saddles for the troopers there's a sort of indent for it to sit. It sits with the stock upwards and the barrel downwards, and there's a little, you can see it, little sort of attachment piece there which sort of goes up underneath the saddle cloth. Only the troopers have it, so the officer and the trumpeter don't have it. So they have a different horse, so you have to watch out for that when you're looking through the figures. Let me just show you. So this is the officer. See, no carbine, and therefore he sits very snugly on that horse. Whereas the trooper here is all done. So you can see I've done on 6 of them so far. I've done. Just move these over so you can see what I've done. Whoop. I've stuck the horses down obviously on the bases. I'm going to do them on these bases that they come with, which is 3 figures wide. Might be a bit snug, but I quite like the look of it. Painted the horses, as I say. Done the bridle and bit using, I'm loving these scale colour 75s, scale 75. This is a red leather, which is really nice leathery effect on the horses. So all the harnesses are done with that. I did the saddle with that as well, not that you can see it because it's buried under the figure now. They all have, looking at the Perry reference, all the troops had a sort of pale grey, or sort of mid-grey, shall we say, saddle cloth, which is what I've done, and then a sort of sheepskin cloth over the top, or rug, I suppose, over the top of the saddle. So that's all been done. Yeah, not much else to say about that at this stage. You can see I have now stuck the riders down, mainly because for me, I'm quite happy just to have that sort of stable platform now to paint on. Oh, forgot the bedroll. Again, the officer and the trumpeter don't have a bedroll, but the troopers do. So that's been done in the dark blue that I'm going to do the uniforms in, which I think is Vallejo Prussian blue. Yeah, Prussian blue is what I'm using there. So yeah, so you can see I've super glued the riders onto their horses, just because it gives me that stable platform to work from. The trousers are going to be grey anyway, with a stripe, so if I can't quite get into the inside of it, it won't matter, because you won't really see the difference between the undercoated grey and the overcoated grey, if you see what I mean. All I did was just paint their boots that are showing below the trousers, just because they're going to be a bit tricky to get to. And that is it. So I'm going to work on just see a bit of glue coming through there. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, so I'm going to work on these 6 riders, and I will be back. So there you go. That's the first 6, progressing quite nicely. So what did I do? I used Vallejo dark blue for the jackets. Sorry, holding it too high. For the blue jackets, also for the whatever that thing's called, I can never remember. Picked out. I actually left the trousers the same grey that the undercoat is, because actually it's absolutely perfect for the colour. Picked out the white cross belts, also the bib at the front of the horse, front of the rider, sorry, the cuffs and the collars, and the sort of ribbony bits that connect this up, and also where the scabbard is. This particular regiment has it's a mixture of white and gold edging. So all the edging around the helmet and the tassely bit that hangs down there is all gold. There's a gold lined edging around the top of the cuffs and top of the collar, and of course the epaulets are gold as well. And yeah, so that's all been thoroughly done and is allowed to dry. And then I'm probably going to go back in and just do a little bit of touching up just to improve the quality of it, because it's dulled down. I put a dark, what did I use? I used non-oil over the top, neat. Maybe I should have watered it down, maybe I should have, yeah, I don't know. I quite like the dark look of these cavalry, it works for me. But I'm going to go back in and just touch up the flesh tones. Also the white, it's a bit too dirty at the moment. May do a bit of highlights on the jacket, we'll see, or I may just leave that for the dry brushing at the end. But yeah, quite happy how they're coming together. So back at the next stage, and there you go, there's the final regiment of the 13th British Light Dragoons. Finished off and all sprayed and varnished and everything else ready for the table. Really pleased with them, actually. Good fun to do. I did enjoy doing the first 6, and then the second 6 were a little bit slower to do. But, you know, it is what it is. I highlighted a bit of the blue with some Prussian blue in the end, just to sort of bring out a little bit of texture in the blue. I suppose if I was a good painter, I would have tried to put some kind of emblem on the, I call it the handbag because it annoys a lot of Napoleonic gamers. You know what I mean? The thing that hangs down. I touched up the belts with a bit more white just to bring out that. So that, because when you use that wash, it darkens it down a fair bit. So that's what I did there. Also the skin tone, highlighted that a little bit with some just some normal flesh tone, a sort of medium flesh tone, I think, from Vallejo, just to pop that out a bit more. And there you are, that's the regiment done. So actually the beauty of this box set is there's 2 more horses and 2 more men with these sort of shakos that I haven't used. Plus, there's enough men basically I've got enough models left for riders for another regiment of 12. They've got the other shako. They've got the old style Taranton, whatever it is, sort of like the artillery, like the horse artillery shako thing, helmet. Yeah, you've got enough there for that. So all I need to do is get, and I think the Perrys do it actually, you can buy sprues of just the horses, and I might well do that just so that I can mount up another regiment. Because that would be quite fun to have and quite useful for another period, for an earlier period in Napoleonics. And I guess, I don't know, I'd have to look it up, but they possibly could be useful in American War of Independence, because that sort of helmet was worn definitely in that period. I don't know. But I have got another box of these Light Dragoons, which I'd always planned to do two regiments. So I'll do them at some point. I won't do it immediately because you can burn out doing cavalry very easily. So I'm just very pleased with the after effect. I think it's come out really well, and certainly that Perry box set I can certainly recommend. Really good, really enjoyable. Paints up well and looks effective on the table. So yeah, let's hope it gets on the table at some point soon. So I hope you found it useful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hit that bell for the notifications so you know when I put stuff up. I try and do 2 videos a week, sometimes a bit more successfully than others, but that's the aim. Yeah, but really pleased with all the subscribers. Thank you very much for everybody who has done so. Stay safe, stay well, and I will see you again soon. This is Dom, signing out.